then Unit 221 and 223.
So to have season dates beginning on October 30th and ending November 5th.
Correct.
Okay.
And further to go along with that, we did have one other issue that we wanted to bring up. We just thought it would be good for hunter opportunity. It appears the Area 10 late archery hunt may not have had a lot of success lately, but there's been a lot of enjoyment with the hunters that have hunted that, and we would like to extend that to Unit 121 if possible, and maybe make a few tags available for that unit for a late archery season also.
Okay. You got that? Go ahead.
Joe Krim, Persian Cab. We would like to oppose the special doe hunt in the 043, 046 area. I mean, it's been the position of the commission in the past that we have a high number of predators. If we're having a predator issue and we're having an excess of does at this time, I would much prefer keep those for seed material instead of passing them off to doe hunters. So that's our position on that. The other recommendations we went with, but the doe hunt we just opposed.
Excellent. Thank you.
Steve Hemp, Humboldt County. We agreed with everything the department had except for that 192, 194, 196 late rifle hunt. And some of the guys just wanted the opportunity at that late hunt, so that's why we went that way.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead. Elk, you can tell us about a 3-season deal.
Ken Wellington, Elko County. There was a little bit of debate in our meeting, however, and some of that was that we had some concern of extra tags being given out because of this, and we were assured that that wouldn't happen. But I think this is critical because I know you guys have received some emails, and so have I, over hunters having major hunter congestion in the Ruby Mountains and problems with dispersed camping and so forth, not having areas to camp, and things like that. So I believe this is a proactive approach by the department to take an effort on this, and I commend our biologists for doing this, and I do it cautiously just because I just want to make sure there's no additional tags within the area. That's my personal, that wasn't a board view. Our board supports this 100%.
This is throwing it 3 days later into the rut. Did they have any specific comments on throwing it, later and deeper into the rut?
Yeah, we the only conflict that we saw would be with I think with a depredation hunt, and so I didn't see a problem with that. But I recall when I was growing up and we were hunting the rubies there, I mean, this was a normal date of going into that area. And I don't see, I can think this is going to actually intrigue people to be putting in for this area because it'll make it a trophy hunt up there because there's some nice bucks in that area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment. Come on down.
Walt Gardner, representing myself. I don't have a major concern with splitting the season in 3 seasons as long as it's a 40-40-20 split, 20% going to the late season. The only concern I do have is that there is a low success rate in that unit already, Area 10. I don't know what it was last year, but we've been averaging about 24%. And in my mind, that's awful low. That's 1 in 4 guys that draw a tag have a deer to kill. The other thing I'm opposed to is a doe hunt. I'm tired of killing does in that unit. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Come on. One more thing you forgot, or what you got?
One more thing, and I'd like to address the board as a citizen at this point. Ray Sawyer, White Pine County. When you guys were doing the elk dates, you've overlapped.
Need to stick on deer.
Okay,
so.
but you've overlapped a lot of the muzzleloader hunts, deer hunts. So that's my concern with what's taking place, and it's just something I would like you guys to consider when you're looking at these dates, because now you're going to have muzzleloader hunters and rifle hunters out in the field at the same time hunting 2 different animals. Thank you.
Okay. Got it. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close public hearing on deer hunts. Bring this back to the commission. Before we get on to it, do you have any questions of staff or anybody? Go with? There, seeing none, what else do you have? Go ahead.
I've got just some comments here. And when I'm done, I'm willing to make a motion on them, but on Hunt 1331, we had last year, we had area 194 and 196 as a late. That was one of the most popular hunts we had. And so I'm gonna, when you're ready, I'm gonna make a motion to bring those late hunts back on area 194 to 196. And also in Washoe County, in the past, we've split up 011 to 013 and 014. We had a split season on it, and I think everybody liked it. And so I'm going to propose a split season on those two areas. Divides hunters up with like 80% in the first and 20%, because these are trophy areas, and there's a small group and have fewer tags, and they would be willing to take a chance on fewer tags to get a trophy, and that worked in the past. And so I've had a lot of comments on that. And and if the one board wanted to eliminate the 1341 archery late hunts in 192 late and 194, 196, I'd have no problems with that. We had yeah, those are my comments on that, but I want to retain that. I've got a lot of, that was probably the second most comments I had besides the elk on the deer. These late hunts and splitting it up. So I'll be ready to suggest that when you're ready.
All right, let's see here. Throw out one thing. I know in the archery, I did find, that first week of that archery, everything comes up on that. Seen a large number of deer that come in that first week. They're still soft, the top inch and a half. It's the hottest, it's as hot as it gets. It's just not a good thing. I think, that we went with an 8 August through 5 September as proposed by Lincoln County, but in all of them that started August 1st. I mean, that leaves a huge season, still unprecedented, almost length season. How it got where it is here, I mean, it's just too easy it's just too early for deer. Their antlers aren't grown. It's bad for the meat. I mean, they start coming in, they got to get them in to walk in minutes, not hours, at that time of year. I mean, it's tough enough at the end of August, let alone the first week. Just an observation. Like I said, still gives them 29 days. All right. Also, doe hunts. Not a fan of the doe hunts, any form. In the junior, I don't really quite get the cutting a couple days off. Why off of most of those seasons that went to October 31st. And I didn't have a problem with a lot of them. Liked to wait till those last few days because it really gave them a good chance to find a decent buck. But it's only 2 days. If you left it at November 2nd, I don't think there'd be a lot of harm to help out the juniors. Let me throw those items out. Go ahead, Mr. Howell.
Mr. Chairman, are we going to take these one at a time?
I'm thinking we need to take them one at a time.
I'm ready to make a motion on the junior hunt.
Okay, let's take the junior hunt. Hunt 1107.
I move to approve 1107. All the dates and seasons and units, except I would like to change the title from resident junior mule deer antlered and eliminate the two words or antlerless. Be a buck-only hunt.
Okay. Is there, moving to make the junior, approve all seasons on hunt 1107, but make it an antlered-only hunt? The second on this discussion, or where we at? There's this motion, a second on the floor. Make 1107, approve all the dates as proposed. Make it an antlered-only hunt. Everybody understand the motion? Commissioner Shrum was the second. Everybody understand the motion? Question on the motion?
Move to amend.
Motion to amend the motion.
We need to put that back with the antlerless for the juniors. I move to amend it to, as the department presented. With the exception of the archery season to August 8th.
Second.
Okay, so the amendment would read that everywhere where archery seasons start August 1st, all the archery seasons would then, currently start with August 1st, would then start with August 8th. And it would remain, and we would be an antlered or antlerless. That's the amendment.
Yes.
Moved by Commissioner Wallace, seconded by Commissioner Macbeth. Do you understand the amendment to the motion?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Mike, how many does are killed by the juniors?
Did we have a number on that last year or 2 years or somewhere back? Last year might not be up, but maybe you got the previous?
We're doing some high-powered math here.
All right. And meanwhile, let's make comment on that. I mean, antlerless, what are we teaching our kids? I'm, father of 5 young boys. None of them are quite hunting age. Well, I should say deer hunting age yet. But, what you try to teach your kids is what you preach. If you're talking about deer management, you don't teach your kids that shoot an antlerless deer in an area where you might think that's a problem should occur. So I'd have to go with the original motion, although I did like one aspect of the amendment, and that was the August 8th starter for the archery. So,
Can I respond to that?
go right ahead while he's coming up with his numbers.
Okay. My response to that would be is that's a minority position, and if we really want to impact the youth and teach them something, we should go with the majority position, which is just the opposite of what you stated.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
We have an answer.
We do have a number. Statewide, youth hunters were responsible for harvesting approximately 300 does out of our statewide population estimate of 110,000.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, could I also make a comment? I really think that the commissioners need to get out and do some ride-alongs and talk with hunters. I can tell you that I've done this in a number of different places in the state, especially with the junior hunters. The first thing that comes up is that, yeah, I'm looking for a buck, but I'm looking forward to shooting a doe. Okay? Bar none. And you really need to find out and get in touch with what the constituencies out there looking for. This is an opportunity for kids to experience deer hunting. Whether they kill a buck or a doe, quite frankly, it doesn't make any difference to them. And I just think it'd be a travesty to reverse roles right now, especially without having input from the cabs, which I think should have quite a say.
All right. Thank you. Commissioners, we are at an amendment on the motion. Does everybody understand the amendment, the two pieces of that amendment? All in favor of that amendment signify by raising your hand, please. All opposed to that amendment? Okay, I'm trying to get this figured out. Hold on. Okay, all opposed to I'm missing one hand. All in favor? Again, we've got Commissioner Vogel, Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Cavan. and Commissioner Capurro. All opposed to that? We have Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Schrum, Commissioner Lent. All right, now we are back at a main motion here, which now reads, antlered or antlerless, archery starting August 8th, everywhere where it currently starts August 1st. Does nothing like, teaching kids bad things. Anyways, some people like to teach their children bad things. That's their prerogative. And by the way, many of us do plenty. Thank you. Speak to at least hundreds yearly. Probably not as many as the game wardens do, though. All right. Does everybody understand this motion as it currently stands? Okay. The motion, as it's been amended, is leave the title the same everywhere where it currently reads Archery August 1st. Replace that with Archery August 8th as a starting date. That's the current motion, as it has been amended. Does everybody understand that motion? All in, yeah, yes? That was the motion as it's been amended.
The motion that we passed included changing it to antler, no?
The amendment was to amend the main motion. The main motion currently reads, the title, Junior Mule Deer Hunt, antlered or antlerless, all exactly as on the piece of paper. Everything exactly as proposed by the department, except that archery starting date change. That's the current amended motion. Am I straight? Yes, okay. Does include. It may be antlered or antlerless. Antlered or antlerless is allowed in the current motion as it has been amended. All right. Everybody understand that motion? All in favor of that motion signify by raising your hand. All opposed to that motion? We have motion passes. We have 2 up and opposed, Commissioner Schrum, Commissioner Howell, and we in favor or opposed? I hadn't looked at you. In favor or opposed? Opposed? Okay, so we had 3 opposed and Commissioner Lent. We had 5 in favor, the other 5. Did we get that clear? Okay, thank you. That motion passes. Let's move right along to 1181. Do we have a motion on this matter? Go ahead, Commissioner Lent.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we don't approve Hunt 1181 as suggested by the department.
Second.
Okay, would that mean to eliminate that hunt?
Means no antlerless hunts.
Okay. And that was the second. Okay. To eliminate the antlerless hunts under 1181, 2011, 2012. Everybody understand that motion? It's a fairly clear motion. Go ahead. You have a question on the motion?
No, I have a question. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
You'd like to make a what?
Amendment to the motion?
Okay, amend the motion.
I'd like to amend the motion to accept the hunts as proposed by the department.
Now, isn't that a vote against the motion?
Second.
Okay. We have an amendment to the motion that would be the same as a vote against the motion, which is to replace it back as proposed by the department. Does everybody understand that we're voting on the amendment to that motion? Does everybody understand that amendment? All right. No amendments to the amendment to the motion. Okay. All in favor of that amendment signify by raising your hand. All opposed? Okay. That amendment to the main motion fails. We had 3 in favor, Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Beck in favor. The other 5 opposed to that motion. Now we have the main motion, which is,
Mr. Chairman?
yes,
Could I make an amendment to the motion?
a further amendment to, another amendment, I should
There's
say.
only one other
way we can split it, so I would make a motion that we accept 101, 102, 104, and not accept 043, 046 as requested by Pershing County.
Okay, there is a motion, oh, actually, I should wait for a second, if there is one. Okay, the amendment, motion to move dies for lack of a second. We're back, was there a second? Okay, I will restate the motion, I was just waiting for a second. Oh, you didn't hear it? Okay. Okay, that motion was that to amend the main motion to state, to state that we would have to eliminate 043, 046 from the department's recommendations and approve the department's recommendation on the other one. It starts with 101. Okay. That's been properly moved and seconded. Does everybody understand that motion to amend the main motion? Approve the Area 10, the ones that are in Area 10, and not the ones in Area 4. This is the amendment to the main motion. Okay. All in favor of the amendment to the motion, signify by raising your hand. All right, we have Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, we have Commissioner Cavan, Commissioner Shrum in favor. All opposed? I will vote. That'll make all five. The other five opposed. That motion to amend fails. Okay, that would be Commissioner Capurro, Commissioner Howell, Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Vogler, and myself opposed to that motion. Good thing I don't have to say my last name or I'd be in trouble at this point. Okay. Now we're back to the main motion, which is to approve no hunts dates under 1181. Let's vote on the motion. All in favor of this motion signify by raising your hand. All opposed? Okay. Motion passes the exact same as the last. I'll be voting on it, which is Commissioner Vogler, Commissioner Lent, Commissioner Rain, Commissioner Capurro, and Commissioner Howell. In favor, the other four opposed. Move on to 1101.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like a motion that we approve Hunt 1101 as recommended by the department.
Second.
Properly moved and by Commissioner Lent, second by Commissioner Vogler, to approve 1101 as proposed by the department. All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Restricted non-resident mule deer antlered, any legal weapon hunt. 1235. Commissioner Lent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to recommend on the resident the same, and so for the non-resident here, I recommend we accept the department recommendations on Hunt 1, 2, 3, 5, with the exception of 194 to 196, and making that a late season, like I'm going to recommend on the for the resident, and it would be the dates would December 21 to January the 1st.
Okay, so we'll be striking on 194 and 196 as presented and putting December 21st to January 1st for both years. And since we're mirroring, we want to do that for both
1331 also.
for 1331.
You want to take them both together?
Well, we
'Cause-
should probably take them both. We can try. The motion is to take them both together.
Well, I've had some other changes on 1331 also.
Huh? What? Okay, let's do 1235 and then we can. Okay, so 1235, and that's it on 1235. That's the motion. Okay. We had a second. Who is the second? I heard a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Howell. I know I heard something, but I was okay. Go ahead.
I'd just like to offer an amendment, which is the proposal by White Pine County to shorten the late season with respect to the units they've indicated, 111, 115, 221, 223, 131, 134, 121, and 114, 115. So it would begin on October 30th and then on November 5th.
I didn't hear all that.
Okay, there is an amendment to the main motion, and that amendment to the main motion essentially is to do exactly what the White Pine County CAB recommended to do, which is stated in our minutes here. If you may need, or not in our minutes, in the handout. Very top of would be page 3. And the only thing on that was that, remember, the gentleman from White Pine County did mention that, let's see, it was 111 to 113 and 114, 115 are separate units. And that was, he did mention that? Okay. Okay. And that was approved by the maker and seconder of the amendment to the main motion. Does everybody understand that amendment? A little nebulous?
No, I'm fine, I just would ask if you had considered including the Story County recommendation on 195 to move the season dates to October 5th to the 31st.
Okay, Story County Unit what now?
Unit 195.
195 from October,
Change it to October 5th to October 31st was their recommendation.
do you want to accept that as well as part of the motion?
Is that on our sheet here? It was in their minutes.
Recommended to move the general rifle buck season from November back to October. It's on the bottom of page 2. This would take the season out of the rut, thus giving bucks a much better chance to mature. So very bottom of page 2, very, very bottom, bottom 2 lines.
But there's a season during this hunt as well. Isn't there?
There is a season during this hunt as well. And this was on 195, is that right? Yeah.
94, 195.
Well, what Mr. Cavan is talking about is 195.
My intent of my motion is to take into account what the cabs want on this hunt.
Okay.
Okay, and so I would accept it if we're all confident that that is the change that the cab wants. I'll accept that amendment.
I accept as well.
Okay, that has been accepted as part of the amendment to the motion.
Would you state it again?
I don't know if I could state it once. Okay, this is to amend the main motion to with the following changes, which is Unit 195, change season dates to October 5th to October 31st, and all of the various changes the White Pine County made in unit groups 111 to 113, 114 to 115, 221, 223, 131, 134, 121 be shortened by a 7-day period beginning, so they begin October 30th and end November 5th. All right, that was it, right? That was the amendment to the motion. We're now voting on that motion to amend the main motion, which also had the things on that were on 194 and 196. Okay. Does everybody understand the amendment to the motion? Voting only on the amendment right now. All in favor of the amendment to the motion signify by stating aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, 7 in favor, 1 opposed. Did I get that right? Commissioner Lent opposed, the other 7 in favor. We now have the main motion, which reads just as the amendment said, but it also includes the dates of 194, 196 being December 21st through January 1st. Okay. That's where we're at on the main motion now. Everybody understand the main motion as it currently reads? The amendments plus the 194, 196 change. Okay, all in favor of the main motion as it currently reads, or has been amended to read, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. All right, it's about as painless as it gets around here. 1331.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to make a motion on that so it reflects, I'll reflect my part of it on 194. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the department's recommendation on 1331 with the exception of 011 to 013 and 014. We split those in a split season, and the early season will be October 5th to October 20th with 80% of the tags, and the second part of the split season will be October 21 to November the 5th with 20% of the tags. And I'd like to also change 194 and 196, the dates on it from December 21 to January 1, like it was last year, and with a couple comments. The late hunts are very sought after, and people that don't want to hunt them in the rut, all we got to do is just lower the quotas, and most of the hunters are willing to accept a lower quota with a smaller chance of getting a trophy animal. And even if it is in the rut, all you got to do is adjust the quotas and knock it down. So I don't think it's really hurting the herd composition by having a few tags for those few rifle hunters that you want to try to accommodate. So that would be my motion.
Okay. Does everybody understand that motion?
The only thing I didn't get, Mr. Chairman, was the season, the split season date, proposed split season dates on 011, 012.
It was 011 to 013 and 014. Those were October 5th to October 20th and October 21st to November 5th, basically reflecting the rest of the ones that are split. Yes.
I have another amendment, but I'd like to handle it separately from this.
Oh, well, this is a motion. So if you'd like to amend that motion,
A lot of people may want this motion, but may not want the motion I'm going to make, so I want to make it separately.
okay, I just hate to, if you have had something to add, I don't want to, I mean, if we pass it, then we'd have to reconsider it to accommodate whatever amendment you might have.
Once, if you were to adopt that amendment, I could then offer.
But this is a
another
motion.
amendment.
This is a main motion.
Oh, the main motion.
This is a main motion. It's an unamended motion at this point.
Okay. No, because he changed the 194. Turn on your microphone, please, sir. His motion was to make the changes to 194 and 196.
Oh, just the changes, as opposed to the rest of the season
So
dates?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We ought to deal with that one, then I've got another proposed amendment.
Okay, so the amendment, so the motion was to do that in 0111, 013, 014, 194, 196, and not deal with the rest of them, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's vote on that main motion, and then that'll leave all the rest of the unit groups haven't not been touched by motion, okay? So we're not voting on all the rest of the unit groups, only those 3 groups that we have specified. All right, clear?
No.
All right, we are only voting on 3 groups of units right now. The motion was only deal with 3 groups of units, and that was the first 2, the 011 to 013 and 014. He wants to split those to reflect the dates of all the rest of the majority of the seasons, October 5th, October 20th, October 21st, November 5th, with an 80-20 split. Okay, we're going to vote on that. And then 194 and 196, dates of December 21st to January 1st. And Suzanne said that, I've been trying to get the motion out. I forgot, was there a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Capurro. All right, does everybody understand the motion? We're not voting anything else, only those 3 unit groups. Okay? All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes 8-0. Now we got piles of other stuff. Go ahead, Commissioner Capurro.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've had several people suggest that the same situation we should take a look at in Unit 24. That'd be Units 241 to 245, and that is to provide both a split season, an early and a late hunt. So I'd like to see if anyone has any heartburn if I were to make a motion to split that season, because that's another very popular.
Just make the motion and we'll know. So 241 to 245, that only?
241 to 245.
All right, we have motion on the floor to split 241, 245 to reflect the dates of October 5th, October 20th, October 21st, November 5th.
Right.
Awaiting second.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to do that. Is there any further on this from the commission? Almost can't. All in favor of that, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we have just 2 opposed, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Macbeth. Is that correct? Okay, the other 5 are in favor. 6, excuse me, are in favor. Is that clear? Okay. Now, we're down to a whole bunch. Split that. All right, anybody else? Commissioner Howell.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve any legal weapon hunt 1331 with the already changed.
So the
dates.
balance of the unit areas that we've not already moved
Accepting
on?
all the changes.
Okay. You have a second on that? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the balance of the changes as made by the department, as presented by the department, accepting, of course, the items we've already voted on, the units we've already voted on. Everybody understand that motion? We have a question from...
In order to be consistent, do we need to include the, I'm sorry. In order to be consistent, do we need to include the units, the White Pine County units that we changed the season date?
If you'd like to make an amendment to that effect, now would be the time.
Would you include that in your motion?
Nobody,
The Story County and the,
okay, we'd like to, let me get this straight. You, the maker of the motion would like to make sure that this also reflects the changes that we made to hunt 1235?
it has to.
All the changes.
Yeah.
To reflect all the changes we made to 1235.
That's the October 5th to October 31st date on 195.
Consistent with our last.
Consistent with our rule on
Okay,
Non-resident.
and the only exceptions to that will be the things we've specifically voted, the units we've specifically voted on.
Correct.
Okay. So we get that clear, so then this would reflect all the changes we made to 1235 as far as season dates. And the only exceptions to that would be the unit groups that we've already voted on 1331, which were 241, 245 would be an exception. Well, we already did 194, 196 would be an exception. 111 to 113, 1014, those are exempted because we've already voted on them. Okay. Everybody gathered this? Go ahead.
Just want to make a comment. We got a letter from Story County, and I've never seen Story County Board. They don't have any money. We've never given them any money. I didn't even think they exist. And although clear blue sky, we get a letter from somebody that said there's a Story County Board. So I've never seen them at a meeting in many years, and I don't think we've ever given them any money. And I don't know if they really exist, if this is just somebody that wrote it. I don't know the individual. I've never seen him in a meeting, so therefore, I didn't take that as a recommendation. Thank you.
All right, so we're voting on the main motion. Everybody understands the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes 8-0. Let's move right along. We've got muzzleloader hunt 1371.
Mr. Chairman?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could you please say the dates you had on the 241 through 245 early late split again? I'm sorry.
That would be October 1st through October 20th, October 21st, November 5th. That was correct? That was 241, 245.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
We can't. Yes.
Just a question. Do we have a conflict now between those early and late for the residents and the non-residents?
No, we're on the next, we're on muzzleloader.
As long as we don't have a conflict.
We made the non-residents the same as residents.
1371. Muzzleloader, what do we have?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion we accept Hunt 1371 as presented by the department.
Okay, it's been properly seconded by, I heard the first one down here, was that Commissioner Schrum? No, Commissioner Cavan. Second was by Commissioner Cavan. Motion made by Commissioner Lent to approve the muzzleloader season 1371 as presented by the department. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Let's move on to 1341. And this is the one we had suggestions about August 8th starting dates. And we also had some stuff on, was it 192, 194, 196? I think what else there was. And then there was,
Late archery hunt, 121, to coincide with 101 through 108.
okay. You ready to make a motion on this thing?
I will.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that for the Hunt Unit 1341, Hunt 1341, that we change the August 1 date to August 8th, that we include a late archery hunt in Unit 121 to coincide with the dates of 101 through 108 late archery, November 10th through November 30th.
Second.
November 10th through November 30th. Okay, so the motion on the table, go ahead.
As a housekeeping, I think we also have to eliminate archery hunts, 192 late.
192 late. We have to eliminate archery hunt 192 late.
And 194 and 196.
196 late. Are those, is that acceptable to the maker and seconder of the motion, or?
That's it, certainly is. Didn't Douglas County want something also?
First through the 10th of December, I think was it, or first through 10th? All right, they had it in their minutes here somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
we have the,
Go ahead.
we have the
You could-
rifle hunt there now.
You could restate that for the clarification.
Eric Sheets, Douglas Cab. The reason we talked about removing the archery hunt was to make it consistent with the removal previously in the other hunts for other weapons. Now we put those back. So let's not throw the archers out. Let's make it consistent still.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
to make it consistent. All right, so our current motion is there anything on 192, 194, 196 in the current motion? In the late? No. No, okay. However, the motion is everywhere where August 1st is in Hunt 1341, 2011, 2012 seasons, everywhere where August 1st is listed, that will be changes to make that August 10th. 8th, gosh, I'm reading something else here. In Unit 121, move that hunt to November 10th through November 30th?
An additional.
Oh, create a new, okay. So we're creating a new late 121 archery season with the dates of November 10th to November 30th in addition to the current 121 archery season. Does everybody understand the motion as it was just read and explained? All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. We are done with deer. Well, we're down to emergency hunts. What do we need to do on that? Let's see. So what do we need in the way of motion on this? That's all under, let me check here. Yeah, we need to approve this. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve 2011 and 2012 emergency hunts as presented by the department.
Moved by Commissioner Lent, seconded by Commissioner Howell? Capurro, excuse me, by Commissioner Capurro to approve 2011-2012 emergency hunts as presented by the department. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Anybody have any heartburn with the indoctrination courses? Any issues come up? No changes from the department on this? Okay. We should have motion on Bighorn Sheep indoctrination courses for 2011-2012.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the Bighorn Sheep indoctrination course for 2011 and 2010 be approved.
2012?
2012, I'm sorry, be approved as recommended by the department.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Vice Chairman Lent, seconded by Commissioner Howell, to approve the 2011-2012 Bighorn Sheep indoctrination courses with dates as presented by the department. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passed 8-0. Let's move on to the next item. And that would be item, man, where am I? 23, Commission Regulation 11-04, Big Game Season Application Eligibility Deadline Remaining Tag Regulations. Maureen Hollinger, you can throw this at us quick. I don't think there's much controversy on this one.
Okay, good afternoon, Maureen Hollinger, Nevada Department of Wildlife License Office. In the interest of time, I'm just going to go over the things that have changed. The basic format is the same as previous years. What's new in here is in the application eligibility, there is some language regarding the Silver State tag coming online. In the first paragraph, it readdresses the eligibility for a client. So if they apply and are, if eligible for the same species in the main draw, they can apply for both. If they're not eligible in the main draw, they can just apply for the Silver State tag. Also, with bear being added as a season and a hunt, just the species language was added for the eligibility for the hunt category because bear is its own category for bonus points. In the general application language, again, we addressed the Silver State tag application as online only, and I added bear as online only since it's a new hunt for us. Why even go to paper? We'll just go online only as a recommendation. And then the balance of it, if you'll look throughout there, there's references on LCB file R15509. That was the NAC language that you approved back in December for the application amendment and withdrawal process to be added for the new year. I just referenced that language because if I added it all in here, you'd have about 20 pages. So the information will be included in the application book as its own standalone information by the deadline, this deadline information, and it will reference back to it. But if we tried to include it everywhere in here where we have a deadline, it would just be really, really long. So, but we do reference that there's that additional 7 days if they wanted to amend or just go to a bonus point only application. So with that, I didn't have any recommendations against this from the county advisory boards, so I'll turn it back to you.
All right, need a public comment on this item, item 23. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing no public, we do have public comment.
Again, for the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County Advisory Board. You do have our recommendations. Our concern with the Hunt 4300, the Rocky Mountain elk quota is listed here is 2. We feel with 2 there and 2 in the heritage tag, we're looking at 4 basically, governor-type tags out there, and we don't think that the state elk herd can handle. Pardon me?
Okay, I think that's on the next item.
Oh, I apologize.
I'm sorry, this is just the application eligibility. I think that'll be 24.
Okay, I apologize. I was
Okay.
ahead of myself.
Any further public comment? Seeing no further public comment on this item, bring it back to the commission, close public hearing. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I noticed on this main draw results, there's no reference to the 48-hour language. I'd like to add in there, draw results will be available no later than 48 hours after the main drawing occurs, because last year I had a lot of people say, well, I thought you said 48 hours. It did not say it. It still does not say it. I think we ought to put that language in there and saying results are, it says main draw results, but it did not say, I think they should say it will be available no later than 48 hours after the drawing occurs. I think we ought to add that in through the sportsmen so they can see it. I don't know why we don't have it in there.
How about the initial draw results will be out within 48 hours? Like we have in the NAC, reflect the NAC language? Okay.
Exactly.
Within 48 hours after the draw occurs.
That's just a
Online.
search.
It will be available online.
That's just a search of the sportsmen, because that's a big issue with them, and they really love that, and I think we ought to put in writing so they can see it's available, because they really like that. Thank you.
Very good point. Okay, so if we have a motion, we're going to include that in there? I think we're ready for motion. Go ahead.
There'll be a motion.
Okay, motion to approve CGR 11-04 as presented by the department with the inclusion of language specifically stating that, can you restate what it is, Marine Force? Okay, you got it written down, right? Or did you mark
Yeah, if I
it?
can read my notes. To include that the initial draw results will be available online within 48 hours.
Second.
Okay, it's second was by Commissioner Cavan. Does everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Move on to number 24. What's the odds it'll be as painless? Not too bad. All right, 24, Silver State Tag and Partnership and Wildlife Season and Quotas 2011. Big Game Biologist Mike Cox and Program Officer 3, Maureen Hunger. Action item.
For the record, Maureen Hullinger for Nevada Department of Wildlife License Office. I'll start this off, agenda item off with some basic administrative topics. Background, in the 2009 legislative session, the Nevada revised statute was amended to provide for the Silver State Tag. In March of 2010, NAC was approved establishing the more detailed requirements for Silver State tags. And here we are today with recommendations for Silver State tags. I just want to keep in mind that our heritage tags, which the seasons for Silver State have to be concurrent with heritage tags. So the 2011 heritage tags are already out to our vendors at this time. There's 2 mule deer, 2 antelope, 2 elk, and 1 Nelson bighorn sheep and 1 California sheep out there. So when you're addressing your Silver State your Silver State tag recommendations, keep that in mind, because NRS does not allow you to exceed 15 maximum for those 2 programs. And then on the Partnership and Wildlife, historically, NAC stipulates that there are not to exceed quota, and which historically has been 22 for resident deer, 3 for non-resident. Antelope was 5, elk 3, mountain goat 1, then 4 bighorn sheep, which was always split between the desert bighorn and a California. So I want you aware that when you're looking at those, that NAC has a not-to-exceed quota. The recommendations right now, because of all these statewide tags programs, is below that amount. And then for county recommendations, for 1105, I had approval from Carson County, Lincoln, and Elko. Unfortunately, I didn't have White Pines, so I'm going to have them address theirs. But Clark had PIW approval with recommendation to return to the 2010 quotas, maximum, which is the maximum allowed by NAC. The Silver State tag with 50% reduction on deer, antelope, and elk. Leave the bighorn sheep as 1, and then anything else return to heritage. Pershing County had approval with recommendations to change all sheep to 1 each. And Eureka County had the Silver State tag recommendations, starting with fewer tags, and recommends 1 deer, 1 antelope, 1 elk, and 1 desert bighorn sheep, and then the Partnership in Wildlife as recommended. So now I'll turn it over to Mike.
We also had a couple units to clarify and ask that they be removed from the PIW hunt. One was for the elk. We asked that we exclude 091 from the PIW hunt. We have an agreement with the state of Utah within that interstate 091 hunt, and we normally didn't have PIW elk hunters going 091, but the last 3 years we've killed 3 bulls in 091 on top of our interstate elk hunt, and they're getting a little frustrated at us because of our agreement, their add-on bull harvest. And then mountain goats to exclude Unit 103 from the use by the PIW tag holders. It's just such a small population, and we just assume maintain that quota with the normal 7151 hunts. They are in. I just wanted to alert you to those changes.
All right, let's go to public comment on this issue. Maureen ran over a few of them. Let's see. Just Churchill recommend, they're not here, recommend the Silver State hunt, 1 tag per species, exception turkeys. Who else wasn't here? Washoe recommends Silver State tags, 1 animal per category. This recommend because of this the first exposure to the draw. Recommend moving excess animals to PIW. Resident deer 22, non-resident deer 2, pronghorn 4, bighorn sheep 1, or Nelson 1, elk 2, goat 1, California 1. White Pine, and the rest of everybody else is here to defend theirs. So, public comment, cabs, this is your time.
Again, for the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County. It looks like we might have an error in our recommendation. We were under the impression that there was no heritage tag for the California bighorn, and therefore we recommended no Silver State tag for that also, but I'm under the impression that there is from the previous speaker. So if that's the case, I'm going to withdraw that part of our recommendation. And when it comes to the Silver State tags and the heritage tags, again, our concern is if we have 2 here and 2 in the heritage, that's just 4 tags, and we believe that's just too many. We would like to see 1 Silver State tag, 1 heritage tag, and the 2 extra tags go into the PIW. And that's all we have.
Okay. Further public comment? Come on up, Mr. Bliss. I know, we're waiting. But it doesn't know Mr. Chad Bliss, he's the one who pushed this through the assembly, and that's why we've been suffering under it ever since, but we like it. It's actually a wonderful, great idea. I know. Be from Eureka too. So, Tell us what we need to know.
Chad Bliss, Eureka County Advisory Board, and it was our idea to get it going, but it never got to this point without the help of everybody in this room and several people who aren't here, from the legislative level all the way to the guy standing on the street corner in the sporting goods store talking about it. I think it could be a very positive hunt and program, and see what happens here. But anyway, our board discussed this. We too also thought for the first year that the department's ideas was a little bit steep, but we went ahead and went with one elk tag, one antelope, a desert sheep, and what am I forgetting? And the deer. We, members of our board, talked to several people around the community and stuff, and they all thought that that'd be a fair number of tags to start with, and see what people were interested in. And then as far as 2012 went, kind of see what happened with 2011, and you know, go from there. So.
Mr. Chairman, could he repeat your microphone, please?
One for each, Commissioner Capurro. Be one Silver State tag for mule deer, one Silver State tag for pronghorn antelope, one Silver State tag for Rocky Mountain elk, and one Silver State tag for Nelson Bighorn sheep, is what was recommended by our board.
Now, when this was being run through the legislature and whatnot, what was the numbers that were thrown about there? I mean, now you went over to great length there. I mean,
you know, I'd have to go back and look at the record to state it properly. I'm not sure. I don't know at that point if there was a consideration of how many tags at that point. It was mainly just to try to get the program going. And I'd have to go back and look to, so don't quote me please on what some.
I won't put you on video, so. Oh,
but,
sorry.
When we first come up with the idea, and I contacted a lot of the different CAB members and the general public, at that time everyone was, yeah, we'd agree with it if it was 1 and 1. A lot of the groups didn't want extras. So we kind of went down that direction, on that path. And then as it went further along, then they kind of changed, and they said, well, we would like an additional tag. And that's kind of where it is today, and where it has been for the last couple of years. I don't know how long we've been working on it, but so, you know, all through this whole process, it's never been about myself or Eureka County Advisory Board. It's been about everybody's input. And so I would hate to stand here and say one thing or another. I would rather the whole group and everyone work off of what the whole group has to say, and because it's everybody's opportunity.
All right.
So.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for bringing us Silver State tag and helping the legislators do so. Commissioner former Commissioner Bentley, how's things going here this fine day?
Commissioners, I would just like to recommend that you follow Mr. Bliss's recommendations of the 1, 1, 1, and 1 from a fiducial responsibility due to the removal of the Nelson Bighorn tag from the heritage. That's a loss of anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000 to the program. So we need to have all of these items, all of these animals in this drought in order to be able to try and sell as many tags as we can to offset that loss that has been incurred by the removal of the desert bighorn sheep. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
Paul Harris. I would just like to say that same thing. I stand behind Chad and his recommendations, 1, 1, and 1. it's an exciting program, and we think it's going to raise a lot of money for the state, and obviously, we're in a financial position where we can need every dollar we can to move towards wildlife, and I would hope that the commission would take that into consideration when you vote on this, that